The chamber of the Galactic Council was filled with a heavy silence. Thousands of alien leaders sat in their seats, their eyes fixed on the glowing screens above. A single issue dominated the meeting: humanity. Whispers spread like fire through the hall. The Council had discovered something dangerous, something about Earth's past that was never meant to be known. Reports spoke of an old prophecy, of fury hidden deep inside the human spirit, a fury that could one day shake the galaxy. The Council wanted the secret buried. One by one, the delegates raised their hands. The vote was swift. Humanity would never be told. Their colonies would be watched, their fleets restricted, their voices silenced. Laughter filled parts of the chamber as arrogant rulers mocked the humans, calling them reckless and unworthy. The screens showed Earth from orbit, a small blue planet shining quietly in the void. To the Council, it looked fragile, harmless, but beneath the calm surface something stirred. At the back of the chamber, a group of human envoys sat in silence. They had listened to every word, watched every hand rise against them, and they did not flinch. When the speaker finally declared the decision, the room erupted in cheers. Then slowly, one human stood. His voice was steady, his eyes unshaken. "We already know," he said. The chamber froze, and every alien heart skipped a beat. Gasps echoed through the vast council chamber. The words hung heavy. "We already know." Alien delegates shifted uneasily in their seats, their eyes wide, their throats dry. The council had sworn the secret was safe, locked away in silence. Yet the humans stood calm, their envoy staring at the leaders with a faint, unshaken smirk. Suspense filled the air like a storm about to break. One delegate shouted, his scales trembling. "Impossible!" Humans could not have accessed the archives. But before the echoes faded, the human raised a small device. The screens above flickered, and suddenly the chamber filled with images no alien wanted seen: classified transmissions, hidden votes, and intercepted orders. The truth spilled into the open. The Council itself had ordered the destruction of human colonies, disguising it as piracy and war. The evidence was undeniable. Panic spread across the chamber. Some delegates shouted to cut the feed. Others demanded silence. But the images kept playing, showing burned settlements and fleets marked with Council insignias. The arrogance of the rulers shattered in that moment, replaced by dread. Then alarms blared. The chamber's massive windows trembled as shadows blocked the stars outside. A colossal human warship uncloaked above the council station, its black hull dwarfing the alien fleet around it. Lights blazed across its surface as weapons came online. The chamber shook with fear as one alien whispered, "They brought their fury here." And then the feed cut to black. The galaxy trembled as news of the exposed secret spread. Alien broadcasts called for calm, but fear was already seeping into every system. While the Council argued in panic, their fleets moved with haste, determined to punish humanity before more truths were revealed. War drums echoed across the stars, and soon the first waves of alien warships pushed toward Earth. The skies above Mars burned red as colonies were attacked. Vast alien cruisers unleashed fire, turning outposts into glowing rubble. To the aliens, it was proof of victory, swift, decisive, unstoppable. Yet something strange unsettled their commanders. Human ships appeared only in small groups, darting in and out of battle, never staying long. They fought fiercely, then vanished into asteroid fields or the shadows of planets. The aliens mocked them, calling it cowardice. But deep within the asteroid belts near Jupiter, the truth was revealed. Human command centers tracked every movement, recording every strike. Young pilots, barely out of training, flew against seasoned alien captains. Each skirmish was no desperate fight. It was a live drill. Humanity was not breaking under the attacks. They were learning, adapting, sharpening themselves in the fire. On the alien flagships, unease began to grow. Where were Earth's main fleets? Why had no massive defense appeared? Then a chilling message was intercepted from human channels. The voice calm and steady. "This is only the first lesson." At that moment, scanners lit up. Something vast stirred beyond Neptune's orbit. From orbit, the alien commanders expected panic. They imagined Earth drowning in chaos, cities falling into riots, governments breaking apart. But when their cameras swept across the blue planet, they found a silence more dangerous than screams. Streets moved in order, factories roared with steady rhythm, and civilians worked as if they already knew what was coming. There was no fear, only preparation. Above the moon, giant structures glowed in the dark. Orbital shipyards stretched like shining rings, each one birthing massive warships from steel and fire. Alien officers stared at the feeds, disbelief on their faces. How had Earth hidden such colossal construction? How had the Council not noticed? But the evidence was clear. Hundreds of ships were being built in plain sight, their frames large enough to eclipse the stars. The deeper the scans went, the more horrifying the truth became. Beneath the oceans, ancient vaults stirred. Huge chambers lit with blue energy, their cores pulsing like the hearts of beasts. Human engineers whispered of Project Fury, a weapon so powerful it was locked beneath crushing depths, hidden even from allies. Unease spread through alien ranks. Why were humans so calm under invasion? Why did every soldier stand as if they were waiting, not struggling? Then an intercepted human message struck like lightning. A commander's voice spoke with cold certainty. The fleets are almost ready. Hold the line. And in the council chamber, silence fell as one thought echoed. Earth had not yet begun to fight. Far beyond the reach of alien eyes, the true scale of humanity's power began to awaken. On forgotten moons, massive hangar doors split open, releasing fleets of warships that had slept in silence. From the icy rings of Saturn, dark shapes drifted free, sleek cruisers and destroyers, engines sparking to life after decades of secrecy. What had seemed like scattered human resistance was nothing more than a mask. The real armada was only now revealing itself. Alien scanners lit up with panic. Signals multiplied faster than they could be tracked. Thousands of warships moved in flawless formation, their hulls black against the stars. They were not scattered raiders. They were legions waiting for the call, and then came the greatest shadow of all. Near Neptune, the void erupted with light as something vast emerged. A single Leviathan-class dreadnought rose from its hidden cradle, so enormous it made alien battleships look like toys. Its hull drank in starlight, its cannons stretched like city towers, and its engines burned like newborn suns. Inside, human soldiers stood calm at their stations, their training complete. To them, this was not the beginning of war. It was the moment they had been waiting for. Orders echoed across the fleet, sharp and unshaken. When Commander gave the signal the galaxy had feared to hear, "Advance!" the Leviathan's engines roared, and the stars themselves seemed to tremble as humanity's fury finally ignited. The revelation of the Leviathan-class dreadnought spread like fire across the galaxy. Worlds that once mocked humanity now trembled, their broadcasts filled with shaky voices and fearful whispers. In the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, panic replaced arrogance. Delegates shouted over one another, their faces pale, their tendrils and claws tapping in fear. The screens above showed endless rows of human warships rising from moons and shipyards, their numbers far greater than anyone believed possible. Impossible, one counselor hissed. No species could build such fleets in secret. But another older voice replied with dread, "They did not build them in secret. They built them while we laughed." Silence fell as the words sank in. The chamber doors opened and human envoys walked in without weapons, their soldiers following in perfect silence. Each step echoed like thunder, though no armor clashed, no blades were drawn. The calm on their faces unsettled the entire hall more than any weapon could. The lead envoy stopped in the center of the chamber, his eyes sweeping across the trembling council. When he spoke, his voice was calm, steady, but heavy with finality. "You feared our anger. You buried your secrets. Now you will see the cost." Before anyone could reply, alarms screamed. The giant screens flickered to show the impossible, humanity's full fleet moving into council space. At their center, the Leviathans turned their guns toward the very heart of galactic power. the largest armada in galactic history gathered outside the Council's borders. Dozens of alien empires poured their fleets into one place, their commanders desperate to stop humanity's advance. From orbiting carriers to titanic dreadnoughts, the stars filled with firepower. On the Council world, delegates watched the battlefields with trembling voices, telling themselves numbers would save them. Then, the human fleet arrived. First came the smaller ships, black destroyers and cruisers cutting through the void in flawless formations. Behind them, carriers the size of continents moved with quiet purpose. And at the center, the Leviathan-class dreadnoughts advanced, so large they seemed to swallow starlight. Their engines burned with steady fury, their weapons glowing with restrained power. The aliens fired first. Waves of plasma, missiles, and beams lit the darkness like a false dawn. Explosions tore across the human lines. But when the light cleared, the Leviathans still moved, shields shimmering like oceans of steel. Then came humanity's answer. Rail cannons thundered, tearing alien battleships in half. Swarms of drones poured from hidden bays, slicing through enemy squadrons with merciless precision. Every human strike was perfect, every maneuver precise, as if the battle was nothing more than a training exercise. Alien commanders shouted in terror as their fleets broke apart. In the council chamber, silence gripped every throat as one message from the human flagship came through the feed. Release the final protocol. The stars themselves seemed to shiver.